and the title of my presentation is Colorblind Context. In the 1960s, Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream. In this dream, he envisioned a world in which his children would no longer be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I'd like a show of hands who believes that dream is possible and that the church might have a role to play in making it a fruition. Excellent. That's exciting. I think I believe that too, but if I'm honest, sometimes I'm not sure. I'm being real. I mean, we live in a world that is as divided as ever on issues of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, our politics, our church politics. There's a lot of division. So sometimes I wonder, how can we make this dream real? Everyone's got their way of coping or making it happen, and for some, that way is to say they don't see color. You know these people. Usually it happens when they're accused of being racist. They'll say, oh no, I'm not racist, I don't see color. What they mean is, I don't see what makes you different. I don't see your uniqueness. I see you as normal. And that sounds fine on its face, until you realize that whiteness is normal. The vast majority of the people in your movies are white. Your TV shows have white people in them. The vast majority of those in the magazines you read are white. Your commercials, they're white. Your schools, white. Restaurants, white. Jobs, white. Your churches. The truth is, the vast majority of the people that many of you encounter on a daily basis don't look like me. So when you say, I see you as normal, you're saying you see me as white. Since I'm not, I will inevitably fail to live up to those boxes that you've checked in your head about how I should act or who I should be, and you will judge me, even if it's just subconsciously. And then we're back at square one. Also, when you say you don't see color, you're saying you don't see what makes me unique. You don't see the value I bring, and so then you're not only colorblind, you're blind. And the truth is, while you may have the privilege not to see color, some of us don't. It is well documented that from New York to Los Angeles, police departments across this country discriminate against people of color at greater rates than their white counterparts. I'm talking stops, I'm talking arrests, I'm talking times of police brutality and instances of violence. They affect people of color more than their white counterparts. And the abuse doesn't end in the criminal justice system. Housing discrimination is still very real and has been for a long time. People of color are denied loans, and their rental applications are rejected at greater rates than their white counterparts. Not to mention the fact that there are still those people that refuse to be colorblind. They admit they see color, and they use that as a pretext for violence. I'm talking about the KKK. I'm talking about the Dylan Roofs of the world, who will kill others because of our differences. So once again, I say, while you may have the ability and the privilege to not see color, the rest of us don't, because we live in a system that was built on color. Our institutions see color. The Constitution of the United States had slavery written into it. When you put these pieces together, you begin to realize that our system was not and has never been broken. It was built this way. Luckily, there's a way forward. We have biblical examples of people that spoke out against injustice. We've got the prophets Micah and Amos in the 8th century BCE that spoke out against the injustice in Israel and Judah. They spoke on God's behalf against the economic oppression their people were facing. Then we've got Jesus. As my sister said, when many people think of Jesus, this is the image they see. They see a white yogi from the suburbs, but that is not the Jesus of our faith. The Jesus we imagine as the center of Christianity needs to look like Jesus really looked. And the truth is, Jesus looked a lot more like me than most of you. The truth is, Jesus was poor. The truth is, Jesus was brown, maybe even black. The truth is, Jesus lived in a country that was colonized by white folks, and he spoke out against that oppression. And it was that speaking out that got him killed. That Jesus should be the center of our faith. That Jesus should be the center of the Mennonite Church. Fast forward even more to the 1960s, we've got the Mennonite prophet Vincent Harding, who said that people's reality will not be transformed until they're determined to change it. So I ask you, Mennonite Church USA, are you determined to change your reality? Are you determined to speak in the context of oppression and injustice, like Malcolm, like Claudette Colvin, like Vincent Harding, like Dorothy Day? Will you challenge injustice and oppression? If I'm being real, though, to speak into a context of oppression, you've got to know what you're talking about. And as of 2006, only 8% of Mennonites lived in urban areas, while 78% of people of color lived in urban areas. If you do the math, that means that the vast majority of Mennonites are not encountering people of color on a daily basis, in their jobs, at their schools, in their churches on Sunday mornings. So if you're not encountering the situations of oppression, if you're not hearing these stories and talking to the people, how are we going to speak into that context? We're hanging out on Sunday morning with our heads in the sand, not realizing there are voices missing, there are perspectives missing. That's got to change. So I've created a really random but simple acronym for us to use. It's called ELRA, and it stands for engage. Engage with people that are different than you are. Listen to them. Hear their stories. Hear their experiences. And once you've heard them, listen again, because you probably haven't. After you've listened, reflect. Reflect on all you've heard, and then while you're in conversation with those that are different, then you act. If we can follow ELRA, we can begin to change the course and the trajectory of our faith. But we've got to stop being colorblind. We've got to ask whose voices are missing within our congregations. What perspectives aren't we hearing? And then follow ELRA. Engage, listen again, reflect, and then act. Folks, I believe the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King is still attainable, and I think the Mennonite Church has a unique role to play in making this dream a reality. But to do so, we've got to stop being colorblind, because again, you may have that privilege. The rest of us don't. Thank you.